What are you doing on Saturday, February 1st at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? How does a free coaching call sound? Sounds good, right? Well, this Saturday, I'm hosting a free virtual group coaching call for my community, and we are focusing on rest and resistance. Listen, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I know that a lot of us just really want a break. We want to rest. We want to pull way back and focus on ourselves, and I'm all for it. I think that's a great idea. But for lifelong high achievers and recovering perfectionists, pulling back and prioritizing rest is easier said than done. You'll have to resist the urge to overperform and show up everywhere and save everyone constantly. And I want to help you show up intentionally rested in this season if that's what you want for yourself. So, join me and some other like-minded individuals on a free group coaching call on Zoom this weekend. The link to register is in the show notes, so be sure to save your spot. I'll see you then. Welcome back to episode 89 of the Life Edit Project podcast. As always, I'm your favorite life coach and podcast host, Coach Elizabeth, and I'm super excited to wrap up this 4-part mini-series on some of the biggest things that get in the way of perfectionists hitting their goals. We've been talking about goals all month for the month of January, and in case you're not caught up, let me give you a quick recap. So I started off by introducing a concept called failure intolerance, and then I continued in the next episode talking about inauthenticity and how that gets in the way of reaching your goals. Last week, I talked about how goal entitlement has so many of us all the way jacked up. And this week, we're going to conclude this mini-series by talking about quitting. Specifically, we're going to talk about why high-achieving perfectionists tend to quit on themselves and their goals so easily, and I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do instead. So let's just jump right on in. Here's the thing. Perfectionists, all kinds of perfectionists, recovering or otherwise, we love to win. We love to succeed. And I'm definitely speaking from experience because I am also a recovering perfectionist. We love the feeling of checking things off our to-do list because it's evidence of all the wonderful things that we've done. And we love the feeling of accomplishing something that we can be proud of. And yeah, real talk, sometimes we love how it feels to have other people approve of us. And we use perfectionism and trying to be perfect in order to earn that approval from people in a bunch of different ways. So why then, when we love winning and succeeding and impressing people so much, why is it so hard for us to get things done? Why is it so difficult for us to see things through? We set a goal, we make a plan to reach that goal, and then before we really give the plan a shot, we call it off and we quit. So what gives? Well, it's because one of the fallacies of the perfectionist mindset is that we tend to believe that it's better to quit than it is to fail. So whenever we get a whiff of failure on the horizon, we sabotage ourselves, or we opt out, or we tell ourselves that we don't really want the goal. And then we quit. We leave it alone. We walk away. But let me remind you of a tough truth. Dropping out is never the way to win a race. And quitting is never the way to reach a goal, no matter how loud your perfectionism gets and no matter how mean your inner critic gets. So here are 3 strategies that you can practice when you feel the urge to quit, but what you really want is to just reach your goal. Ready? Number 1, downshift. So one of the lies of the perfectionist mindset is that it's all or nothing. Either we're on or we're off. We're either moving full speed ahead or we're dead in the water. And that is not the truth. It does not have to be that way. In fact, that's not how most of life works. Here's what you can do instead. If it feels unsustainable to operate at a level 10, then give yourself permission to downshift to a level that you actually have the capacity for. Whether that means you're downshifting to a level 8 or to a 5 or even a 2, Downshifting to any level that keeps you on track will support you better in reaching your goal than quitting and walking away and pretending like it doesn't matter to you. So, for example, let's say you have a goal to get in better shape this year in 2025, and your original goal, your level 10 goal, includes working out 4 times a week, eliminating artificial sugars altogether, and only allowing yourself to eat carbs twice a week. That plan right there, that plan is level 10. And I know you don't think it is because you can imagine having a more strict diet and a more rigorous exercise routine, but that's not how this works. The plan that you set to reach your goal is the ideal, and it becomes the level 10 version of your success. But when you're not at your best, when you have a lower capacity to invest in changing your reality, you get to downshift to a level that is more accessible to you in order to maintain your momentum. So in this case, that might mean that maybe you only work out once a week. And yeah, you still skip adding the sugars to your food and beverages, but maybe you allow yourself to eat carbs every day. But instead of just eating whatever carbs you can get your hands on, you limit your options to brown rice and whole wheat bread and sweet potatoes. When you do this, downshifting honors where you are right now without undoing and counteracting all of the progress that you've made up to this point. It keeps you on track without derailing you. It allows you to stay on your current path. Even if you have a little delay, it's not a complete detour. And so this is a very helpful and a very necessary strategy for perfectionists to have in their toolkit. The second strategy that I want you to try is to cheat. And I know this sounds counterintuitive coming from a life coach, but I'm going to say it again. I encourage you to cheat. Stop trying to do everything from scratch all by yourself all the time. Use the shortcuts, start with the templates, do things the easy way as often as possible. It's not bad and it's not wrong, and you're not breaking any rules. And trust me, you don't get any extra perfectionist points for doing things the hard way. All you get for your trouble is just more trouble. So this came up recently when I was coaching a client, and I was checking in with her on her progress on a goal that included some writing. And as she was giving me her update, she shared that she had, quote unquote, cheated because she used ChatGPT to brainstorm some of her topics and to help her draft her outlines. And as she told me this, she was kind of chastising herself and kind of dismissing the work that she'd done. But I was right there in her corner congratulating her because I thought it was the perfect shortcut for her to move to allow her to stay on track and to get done the thing that she said she wanted to do. So sometimes we perfectionists, we get derailed on the way to our goals because we hyper focus on being able to show our work. We don't just want to get the result. We want to be able to pull out our receipts and show how much time and effort we put in so that we can prove that we earned our goal. And if we can't point to the process that we followed to succeed, or if we feel like the process that we used wasn't challenging enough, then we convince ourselves that the result that we got or that the win that we achieved, that it's not worth it. But I call BS. Things can be easy and still be impressive. We can take shortcuts and we can still decide that we deserve to celebrate our wins. And yeah, a win is a win. The third thing that I'm going to recommend that you do instead of quitting is to get help. You don't have to know how to do any of this by yourself. You get to call for as much backup as you need, as often as you need it, every step of the way if you need it. You can delegate, you can hire, you can make new friends and then call on your friends to help you along the way. Anything counts when it improves the probabilities of your success. So go ahead and give yourself permission to hire that laundry service or get those private lessons, schedule that babysitter, and of course, I'm going to encourage you to hire a life coach. Book a sales call with me to sign up for my one-on-one coaching services and let me help you reach your goals. I mean, just imagine Instead of rolling over this year's goals onto your list of goals for next year, you can finally get the help you need to be able to check these things off your list once and for all. All you have to do to get started is to tap the link that's in the show notes to get on my calendar, and I'd be happy to give you all the tips and tricks and tools and strategies that I have to help you reach your goals more effectively. All right, that's all I've got for you this week. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode, and honestly for tuning into the entire Goals mini-series. I will be back in your ears next week with a fresh new topic. In the meantime, practice downshifting and cheating and getting help instead of quitting if what you really want is to reach your goals. All right? Peace.